Hi, I'm Jim Fitzgerald, a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt and Innovation Master. I'm going to discuss how Lean Six Sigma can streamline your organization. One of the most valuable concepts ever innovated was the value stream. If you are a business that brings value to your customers, then you should understand your value streams. Let me explain a value stream. If you traverse a path through your business where the value is added to a product or service in your business, then that is a value stream. It is the system part of a business system. A value stream and a business system are identical. If you descend into an organization, you move from the value stream to processes to activities. The value stream gives you the holistic view of where you are creating value for your customers. The value stream concept has some terminology that is important to review. These are some of the metrics that are used when you build a value stream. The value stream concept has measurable business value. With a value stream, you get profound knowledge of your business. You get a window into areas to improve. You understand where you add value and where you don't. Lead time is the total time through all the processes, starting with the first customer interaction and ending with delivery of the product or service. Rolled throughput yield is the percentage of product or service that made it through the whole value stream without a defect or error. Cycle time is the time it takes to get through a process. Value add time is the time during a process when value is added for a customer. Defect or error is a result of a problem. The problem should be investigated and defects mitigated. Let's investigate an example. Practically everyone has some experience with the building permit process. Interestingly enough, the process includes work that individuals perform and work that a governmental agency performs. There is a concept called work to be done. The idea is if a product or service is sold, what are the first few things that the individual that made the purchase does? Then, how about looking into doing this for them? You will see this concept in action in the final design. I use this building permit process as the example. Let's go through the process one step at a time. The first step is to go online and print out or fill out and then print out a building permit form. The next step is to fill out the form to the best of your ability. In this example, I am estimating that the first step takes about an hour and a half, and 20 minutes of that time was used adding value. For instance, running around and calling people to collect information is not adding value. Putting that information on the sheet is adding value. Now on to the next step. At this point, we have completed and filled out the building permit. Now we're getting into our car and driving to the building permit office, parking, walking up the stairs, standing in line, and then handing in the completed building permit to the office. At this point, we don't know whether it was filled out correctly or not, and if not, whether the front desk found the error. I am making an assumption here that the building permits are picked up from the office 2 times a day, once in the middle of the day and once at the end of the day. I put down 2 hours as an average since, if the permits are picked up after 4 hours, some building permits have been turned in and others 4 hours ago. This concept is a batch concept. Batch means that the product is aggregated into a batch and then moved on as a batch. In an ideal world, the product would flow through the system as opposed to being aggregated into batches. This is not the final example of a batch. In my example, the supervisor picks up the batch twice a day from the front desk and distributes it again as a batch. The supervisor takes an hour to go through 4 hours of the building permits collected and distribute them. During that hour, the value add work is half an hour. The other half hour could be time spent organizing data, flipping through data, and then putting data in the bins. Here I assume that there is a 2-hour delay from the time the building supervisor puts the building permits into a bin and the bin is delivered to the building permit operator. The building permit operator takes 5 minutes per building permit, of which 3 minutes is value-added activity. I also assume that an error is made on 1% of the building permits. The last step I estimate is the effort it takes to get the finalized building permit back to the building permit requester. Let's assume that this value stream includes both government activities and customer activities. This means that this step could take a significant amount of time if it was performed using mail versus email or a phone call. The example estimates 5 minutes. However, that could be extremely inaccurate in your case. We next look at some of the key value stream metrics. Is this realistic? I don't know, but this is just an example. From the point of view of the value stream, the lead time or total time through the value stream is 420 minutes. I assumed everything was performed during a normal work day. In real life, there may be a delay from the close of business to the opening of business the next day. Think about it. Do you execute a building permit now in 7 hours? This may be understating reality. The situation may actually be worse. The value add time is 56 minutes. That includes the actual filling out of the building permit also. The rolled throughput yield result was 93%. When you have a defect percentage in one process, then another defect percentage in another process, you multiply those percentages together to get the total defect percentage. That is what is done with the rolled throughput yield. Think of every defect as adding a whole bunch of work needed to get back and fix it. Now that we know where we're at, let's take a look at what it takes to improve it. It is important to note that the value to the business is not in the performance of the individual processes, but in the performance of the whole system or value stream. Traditionally, the ripest area for performance improvement are in the areas where value is not added. Usually value added time is a small percentage of the whole process time. Let's overview the alternative solution. Here are some of the differences between the original and new value streams. Lead time improved from 420 minutes to 40 minutes. Value add time dropped from 56 minutes to 23 minutes. Rolled throughput yield increased from 93% to 98%. Let me go through the solution processes. The individual applying for a building permit goes online and fills out the building permit. The website uses drop-down menus to make sure and validate inputs. If the individual has supporting documentation, it is attached through the website. The form has enough information to allow intelligent routing. The new system takes the completed request and uses information on the request to route the request to the optimal building permit operator. This is a computer-based smart routing system, so it takes virtually no time. The request goes into a first-in, first-out buffer for the building permit operator to pull from. A comment on scheduling. As building permits are distributed to the different building permit operators, a sophisticated scheduling system should be in place. Let's say that Susie is an expert on swimming pools and Jose is an expert on two-story structures. The smart system will load balance by distributing those different permit requests to both Susie and to Jose. It may bias a little towards their expertise, but it is important that both of them can do both permits. For instance, the swimming pool permit request load may be seasonal and you don't want it to overload an operator. So in summary, lead time decreased significantly. These numbers may not be realistic. Can you currently turn around a building permit request in 7 hours? I suspect it takes significantly more time than that. But can the new solution get you to 40 minutes? It wouldn't surprise me if you could come close to achieving that time. Value time decreased mostly because the manual routing had value but was eliminated by the smart routing. Rolled throughput yield is a prime area for continuous improvement. The greatest value here is the ability to control what is put on the initial submitted form. A web form is able to reject values based on predefined ranges. I suspect the initial form contains the greatest number of errors in the whole value stream. Every type of business should understand their value streams. If you don't think in terms of value streams, then you are not well connected with the value you deliver to your customers. Whether you process claims or build ships, you have value streams. The first steps to operational excellence are recognizing your value streams and then analyzing them. A value stream is just one of the many tools in Lean Six Sigma. It is certainly one of the most important and applicable to any business. As they say in Lean Six Sigma, first define value, then map the value stream, build in flow, pull where needed, perfection is the goal. I am Jim Fitzgerald, a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt and Innovation Master. I look forward to guiding your journey towards perfection.